Hello and welcome to Iron Port, a program that has been designed to bring Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. It is proudly brought to you by Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. This program is powered by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, this week we delved into the new Ghana Shippers Authority Bill, which is currently awaiting presidential assent to be passed as law. This new law will allow the Ghana Shippers Authority, it will empower the Ghana Shippers Authority to regulate shipping service provision in Ghana, something that some sections of the trading public have been clamoring for many years. Let us listen to the Director of Business Development and Commercial Services at the Ghana Shippers Authority, Emmanuel Kofi, could tell us more of what to expect and the benefits of this new law.
Let me put it this way. Our establishment law, NRCD 254, after that there was LI 1347, and then another LI in 2012, LI 2190.
Yes.
We have put all these laws together into one, and then given a bit more sanctions regime for the law. So that is what has happened.
Right.
Not much has changed in terms of our processes, our procedure, our role. You see that we're doing some of the things already, yet we were not able to get to the end of it to make determinations that will be obeyed by people, by players. So three things will happen this time around. The charges, illegitimate charges, now the authority has been given the powers to deal with it conclusively.
Right.
So the Ghana Shippers Authority now has to approve charges. So if charges have not been justified, we have not gone through discussions, it is not something that we all accept as an industry, it's not an international best practice,
right,
and we are afraid that charge cannot stand anymore. Number two, the Ghana Shippers Authority has also been given the role to be able to what we call deal with disputes.
Yes.
So there is a dispute settlement mechanism as part of the law where the Ghana Shippers Authority can make pronouncements, having listened to all the sides, and make a determination.
Yes.
And that determination will stand until it is set aside by a competent court of jurisdiction. So that is the second part, so that it can allow free flow of business. Okay. Most of the time when there is dispute, it's the shipper who suffers. His container is attracting rent, it's attracting demurrage, while the tussle and the dispute continues. With the coming into effect of this law, we'll be able to make decisions in these areas so that the shipper will not be, at the shorter end of the stick. Then the third one, which I think it's also very important, is what we call the provision for local content and local participation in the provision of shipping services. You realize that our shipping industry has been dominated, the better side, by multinationals.
Yes.
When we were young and we joined the industry at the time, there were a number of local industries who were shipping agents, etc. Yes. But now we see that we have the multinationals who are the shipping lines. Then they have come to establish their own agencies. Some have even gone, further into transport and clearing, etc. And therefore depriving our own people of a lot of jobs. So exactly. I think this is one thing that the industry should be happy about, that very soon we'll be able to come out with legislation and regulations that will allow our people to take charge of some of these areas as far as the shipping services provision are concerned. So these are the three key elements that I thought the industry should be happy about.
All right. So there's the issue of transparency and accountability in determining charges for the industry. How does this new bill ensure that?
Yes, accountability in the sense that if we have to pay a certain fee, everybody must know why it is to be paid. So now shipping service providers will have to justify any charge in the industry. It has to be justified. We have to enter into consultation. We have to see whether it is it meets international best practice before it can be implemented. If it doesn't pass all these tests, then we are afraid we can't allow a thing like that. We talk about the typical example is the issue of administrative charges, where freight has been paid from the port of loading only for shippers to come to the port in Ghana and be asked to pay some administrative fee.
Yes.
And administrative fee is not only administrative in terms of per bill of lading, it is even charged per container, as if containers have been moved physically. Yet it is just one paper or just a press of a button, and shippers are paying about $300 per container in all these areas. These are areas that we are going to look at, and we want to find out why these charges. There's a typical one also known as container cleaning. Container cleaning, you bring clean cargo, you haven't soiled the container, yet you are asked to pay a container cleaning fee. And those are the things that we are going to look at. And there's a number of them that we'll be looking at. On the whole, we are paying in excess of about $20 to $30 million a month in these charges that leave the country.
Shippers?
Yes, shippers are paying. This is money that could have been part of their business. They could reinvest and could make them more competitive. So these are the things that we'll be looking at. So it has to be justified. Every charge will have to be justified. And every increase will also have to be justified. So that is the way we are going to go about it. Of course, based on a lot of consultations and supported by research.
Yes.
So that is how we are going to go.
Okay, so I know the basic response would be that, yes, you didn't have the legal teeth to bite. That's why these things were persistent. You knew about them, but looked on, hopelessly. You couldn't help. Did you make any efforts, along the line to point out to the culprits that this was what was happening, and these are the complaints we've received, and this does not inure to the benefits of those that you represent, the shippers, and that something should be done about it? And what responses did you get from them?
We have done that a number of times. We've met them, but they say, hey, it's a free market. We should be allowed to do, what the market will allow. But you see, that even on that score, we can interrogate it a little further. If you have a country where in the liner sector, for instance, the top 5 companies control about 64% of the market. Top 4.
Right.
So already, we are not talking about a perfect market. We are talking about an oligopoly, where few people are determining. So in situations like this, the theory is that there has to be regulation. There must be intervention. And so they have taken advantage of it. And then because it is money that is coming to them, you can be sure it is not something that they want to let go until we have the force of law. And here in this law now, it's been amply, given in terms of the sanctions that will apply if you flout or you violate any of these decisions that we are charge a fee that has not been approved by the Ghana Shippers Authority, you'll be sanctioned severely. So.
All right. So I know, yes, the bill has come into force, waiting for presidential attention. But I just want to find out from you whether you anticipate some resistance, so to speak, from, let's say, the shipping lines, especially with respect to something like container cleaning charge or container administrative fees and all that. Do you expect, or you think that with the law in force, you don't even need perhaps to go and negotiate? You just would go straight away, inform them that this is our stance, and if you flout, we are going to come after you.
A law like this, you can be sure not everybody will be happy with it. Those who are benefiting from the present system definitely will not be happy. And unfortunately, the areas rather that we did not expect some of the issues to come up is where, because we thought that we're doing this thing for our shippers, and especially our freight forwarders. I belong to a number of platforms where we have been, on the chopping board anytime there are issues at the port. And we say that, and they say, we don't have the teeth to bite, so give us the teeth to bite. And so I'm rather surprised at where the concerns are coming from. I think it's a matter of communication and lack of understanding of the law and what it entails. Because, for instance, with Guta, having said, they talk about two things. They talk about the registration of shippers that they thought was, akin to licensing. And then they also talk about shipment notification form that they thought was going to be something like the advanced shipment, notification. So After that initial, complaint that came, we saw on media, we have met Guta again, and they have understood clearly that registration is registration. Ghana Shippers Authority has been registering its shippers since 1987.
Right.
So it's nothing new. Maybe what is new now is that, because government wants people to tow a certain line, definitely there has to be some...
What is new is that it's now become compulsory.
There's a sanctions part of it. So that is it. But you see, we'll be the last people to place another layer, of bureaucracy on cost, etc. Because even presently, if you know how much shipper registration is, the gold category, I have two categories of shippers in Ghana. The gold category, who do a certain volume in a year, the registration is 100 Ghana cedis a year.
Yes.
And then for the silver category, it's 50 Ghana cedis, I know with the new law, it will be subject to fees and charges, etc. But looking at this fee, this is not a fee that is intended to be a money-making, machine or anything like that. So we said that registration is for our shippers to know them, etc. And then they ask the question. The information is on the, you can find it on the ICOMs. You see, but you have to be entitled to the information. There has to be legal provision for you to take that. You can't go onto ICOM and say, I want this information. Are you entitled to it? So that is what we have done. The provision has to be made in the law. Then the second part, which is the most important part, is to ensure that we do it in such a way that it doesn't impede, the flow of trade. It doesn't add to cost, but shippers are benefiting from it. So that is what is going to happen. You also realize that many people don't know that we still implement shipment notification.
Right.
When GCNet came on board, maybe early 2000.
Shipment notification, is it the same as the one that was shot down Ashi?
So I'm coming to that. I will explain.
It's Ashi, right?
I will explain. No, it's different.
Okay.
So we have a shipment notification that hitherto shippers were coming to our offices for a certain to complete a form, and we stamp to give them to be able to clear their cargo. But when the ECNet came, we on our own put that ESNF on the platform. So shippers were not coming to us anymore. As part of our effort to facilitate trade, we didn't ask people to come to. We ourselves voluntarily put it on the platform. So we were picking the information from the platform. In the same vein, we are going to, there's the shipment notification form that they are seeing that looks like an ASHI, an advanced shipment. What has happened is that the shipment notification form data requirement that we use presently is 1987.
Okay.
We have only upgraded it in this new law in terms of the information that we require. Right. So now the template looks like an ASHI, advanced shipment information template. Yes. But it is a shipment notification form that will be completed here as part of the clearance process. So it is different from an advanced shipment, notification where we have agents outside where the forms will have to be completed and sent ahead of time. So it's different from ASHI altogether. It's still the shipment notification form. It will be completed here as part of ICOMs. If data is available that we can generate and can get from ICOMs, we'll do that. Those that we require that are not available. We have already started working with ICOMs and customs to ensure that there is some integration to be able to get as much information as possible. So people should dispel that we don't have an advanced shipment, notification or information, as we have it presently. There may be plan. You will notice that we have had the law given to us to do advanced shipment, information, which was in the LI. But you see, that has been given to us as law. So we have preserved it in this. But its implementation will be done when the market is ready with this. But as we speak now, what will be implemented is the shipment notification. That is information that will be gathering as part of your clearance process. So shippers should not worry at all. Nothing is going to change. They may not even notice it at all that we are taking some information from the system. Unless there are few areas that we want, especially the geographical distribution of trade, it's one important thing that we don't have as a country.
Right.
You know, when people import stuff into this country, we only see things like post office number, so and so.
Yeah.
But where exactly that commodity and cargo ends or where it is coming from, we don't know in terms of district, regional distribution, etc. So we intend that as part of this new shipment information, we'll make a provision to find out where imports will finally end and where exports are originally coming from.
Right.
As part of policy, data that will help government to make decisions that are, very, very, very accurate. So that is it. We are doing this in the interest of the shipper. So when we met the stakeholders, we have said that yes, we can't get a perfect law, but we should be careful not to throw the baby with the bathwater, because there's a lot of good things in this act. The few ones, maybe about 1%, can be addressed very soon. And we have already started a process of looking at how we can use LI to elaborate some of the provisions in the law. We are not saying that LI is going to supersede the Parent Act. No, that is not it. But it will give practicality and to give meaning and make it easy for people to follow. And that is what we are going to do.
All right, so that was an excerpt from our discussion with the Ghana Shippers Authority on this new law. We are looking forward to see how this unfolds for the benefit of our industry. Now let us hear a few comments on this subject after we go on break, and we'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Emmanuel Agbele from Ashalibuchi says, "Good evening, Mr. Ako. Please tell us what the ordinary individual would benefit from the law." Hi, Emmanuel. Mr. Ako says,
we talk about the shipper. Maybe the shipper is basically the importer and the exporter. If the shipper's cost rises, he passes that cost on to the consumer. And all of us are consumers. And therefore, anytime the cost of doing business is higher at the port, we also find our, the cost going up. So it may not, we may not think we are involved directly, but we are really affected by all this. The inflation that we see sometimes are imported through these means. So once the cost at the port goes down, everybody who is a consumer in the market will benefit from it.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome to the GPHA port of Takoradi, Ghana's first commercial port. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA has in its quest to position the ports of Ghana as the leading trade and logistics hub of West Africa, embarked on a massive expansion drive at its Takoradi port, the first commercial port of the country. This has resulted in a radical transformation of the initial 7-berth low-drafted port, which was constructed in 1928, to an ultra-modern port fitted with deep-drafted container, multi-purpose dry bulk, and liquid bulk facilities. The 16-meter deep dry bulk terminal is the deepest in the sub-region, with a total quay length of 800 meters. It is fitted with a combined 3-kilometer length conveyor system, which comes with a 2,500 metric tons per hour ship loading capacity, which has greatly improved ship turnaround time at the port. The Marshall Liquid Bulk Terminal is a fully automated liquid bulk facility dredged to -14 chart datum and equipped with automated firefighting system. The facility is fitted with 5 loading arms for gasoline, diesel, LPG, bitumen, and heavy fuel. On the container side, Takoradi Port's 16-meter deep yield port and ATSL container terminal with a quay length of 600 is expected to receive container vessels in the 3rd quarter of the year.
Welcome back, viewers. Now let us take a look at some local news and activities within our ports and maritime sector. A third commercial port in the Keta municipality remains a major priority on the itinerary of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The board and management of GPHA have expressed commitment to ensuring that due processes are followed to see to the successful construction and operationalization of the port project. While the project is in its environmental and social impact assessment stage, the authority has commenced the construction of an administration block for the port project before selecting an appropriate investor to build and operate the main port. Indeed, construction of this administration block is underway, and management and board have expressed satisfaction with the progress made following their visit to the project site last Thursday.
I believe that by the time this project is completed, GPHA would have made arrangements for the startup of the port itself, the breakwater, and so on and so forth. Already we've done the environmental and social impact assessment. You know, many companies have expressed interest, and it is our hope that that interest will be translated into people actually bidding to do this job. So it's going to happen.
We are happy with the progress they are making. It's unfortunate their original designs had to change when they came to the ground, but we are all together in this to make sure the project succeeds. Like Chairman said, this is a project for Ghana. It's a project for the whole of Ghana. It's a project for everybody. And even our neighbors. Look at the distance we drove from Tema to this place. And since we started Volta region, from Madan all the way to this place, if all cargoes come into this area have to come from Tema, and you have a port here, we can just imagine the advantage for anybody, any economic operator within this region, picking his cargo from the port of Keta instead of going to Tema or entering Togo to cross the border with all the protocols.
This project has never been an event, it has been a process. The financing, the people have to come together to have a sustainable developmental project. And this is what we have done. Feasibility was done, we shared it. Environmental impact assessment has been done, we are waiting for approval. Once those two things come together, then you have a viable project that can go forward. We have sounded the project, as DG said, 6 companies have shared their interest. We are very hopeful that once it comes out of EPA and they have access to it, those who have interimly expressed interest will now give us formidable investment package that can proceed with the development of the port itself.
The 5-story Keta Port Administration block, when completed, will sit on a 3,800 square meter area. It is in its piling stage to ensure the building withstands the geological conditions of the area. PSB Realty Limited is the on-site contractor for the Keta Port Admin block. Stakeholders in Ghana's maritime sector continue to work together to improve security standards at Ghana's ports through the implementation of the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, also known as ISPS. The Ghana Maritime Authority, in collaboration with the Department of Transport of United Kingdom, has organized a maritime inspectors workshop, bringing stakeholders together to build capacity for the collective responsibility of safeguarding the port against maritime security threats and attacks. Earlier this week, participants in the training program, including officials from the GMA, Regional Maritime University, Meridian Port Services, and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, among others, paid a visit to the port of Tema to witness firsthand the integration of ISPS recommendations in port security operations, such as security surveillance and access control.
So the cameras will be used to actually show the person.
Jim Hamilton, the Deputy Head of International Maritime Security Operations Team at the UK Department for Transport, stated that the exercise was intended to practically test participants' security audit skills.
This time we're doing what we call a Maritime Inspectors Workshop, and that's why we're here today to at the invite of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, to come and have a look around and see what a real port looks like and how auditors can use what we call their auditor's eye to examine and inspect and make suggestions and do their duties under the ISPS code. So that is what we're doing here this week. And you know, coming to the port like this is really important because we get to use those skills we've learnt in the classroom to then apply them in real life. So that's really, really good.
He was impressed with the improvements in security procedures at the port since his last visit.
I was here this time last November at this very spot, and I won't go into the details about what I've seen, but there are differences here that I've seen that show a stepped improvement in the security stance. So that's really pleasing to see.
The port security manager, Colonel Benjamin Boama, revealed some key tenets of his outfit's culture that continue to yield success in the performance of their mandate.
First and foremost, is the attention to details. We always go back to review the report, see where we fall short, and try with management to make amends and show that by the next visit would have improved tremendous. Secondly, it's also by teamwork and good leadership. And once we are all together, we know that we are on the same boat, working together. The inputs I get from my subordinates is quite remarkable.
The harbour master at the port of Tema, Captain Bramwell Terrier, stated that the port of Tema will not rest on its oars, but will continually work to improve security standards at Ghana's largest and busiest port.
We do have drills, it's part of training. Exercises is part of training, in-house training, and then engaging foreign stakeholders. We had training with Expertise France being funded by European Union, and then Department of Transport. Yeah, this training enhances our efficiency and performance in the ports.
As part of efforts to increase tax compliance among the citizenry, the Ghana Revenue Authority has resorted to vibrant tax education nationwide as the authority marked Tax Month in the month of August. The GRA aims to bridge the understanding gap and demystify taxation with the hope that this will lead to increased compliance with tax filing and payment. The authority has engaged micro, small and medium-scale entrepreneurs at the Tema Community 1 main lorry station as part of recent exercises to strengthen the relationship between traders and tax administrators. A key article in this sensitization exercise was the modified tax system, an innovative, simplified means of capturing MSMEs into the tax net. The area director for Accra East, Assistant Commissioner Joseph Asari, told Iron Port more.
The modified taxation are in 3 levels. We have the very small ones, the macro, small, whose income is up to 20,000. They are given a tax to pay. And then beyond 20,000 and above. And then we have the third layer, which is cash basis. These are businesses which are mostly services. They are not doing this normal buying goods and services, but they are basically services. And they can keep records.
He also touched on innovative methods the Ghana Revenue Authority has adopted to improve tax administration, as well as, more importantly, convenient ways of filing and paying taxes.
These days, taxpayers do not walk to our offices to file and pay. We pay online, we file online. Tax clearance certificate, which used to be accessed from the office. Now on the portal, you should be able to access your tax clearance certificate. And a lot more.
Some market traders shared their learning experience and urged the GRA to continue exploring measures that will simplify taxation for them.
And now, school, faha, nina tax ya. Abribia so mubo abanya baso say, me kwanya say, as I say oban obeye mami. Na wuti ho na wontua tax no obede nya sika na watumi dia ye wo kwan no e di amount.
First nanka obekọ office wo enu ntine ma bebre ye ntumi nko but o ma me ye hu say sesia na ebetumi aye wo efon so aye boss star 22 asha ebetumi akọ na chese watu ya wo me enu kra na manage no eba no sa me ha me hu nko committee 4 enko gina wa anti no ebeboa ye.
The Revenue Authority also offered free health screening for the traders in the market area. Let us now turn our attention to the global stage and pick a few international shipping and maritime related news. Chinese majors COSCO Shipping Heavy Industry and COSCO Shipping Container Lines have signed a contract for the construction of 12 14,000 TEU container ships with dual-fuel methanol propulsion. The new ships belong to a new generation of ship types developed jointly by COSCO Shipping Lines, COSCO Shipping Heavy Industry, and the China Shipbuilding and Ocean Engineering Design and Research Institute. With a length of 335.9 meters, a width of 51 meters, and an invisible bulb bow and stern energy-saving device, the new vessels adopt innovative design and advanced technology. They offer a large loading capacity of 13,700 standard containers. Italian shipping company Grimaldi Group has taken delivery of the 5th energy-efficient multi-purpose roll-on roll-off ship from South Korean yard Hyundai Mapo Dockyard. The vessel, Great Casablanca, which belongs to the innovative G5 series, features a length of 250 meters, a beam of 38 meters, and a dead weight of 45,684 tons. The new series of ships feature technological solutions aimed at increasing energy efficiency and reducing environmental impact. Now for our Word of the Day segment, where we introduce words, phrases, jargons, abbreviations, and terminologies that we often use in this industry so you can get familiar with them. We'll let you know what we mean by block stowage. Block storage refers to storing cargo destined for a specific location close together to avoid unnecessary movement.
Let us now take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berth in the ports of Tema and Takoradi and at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. This is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Iron Port. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Port content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Port. Please subscribe, like, and share our videos. Thank you for watching.